From Cardinal Television Studios, I'm Hannah Cheeseman, and this is your Fisher News Brief. Forget Manson, Bundy, Dahmer, and Son of Sam. The FBI is looking for help solving the crimes of a man they say is responsible for more deaths than any other serial killer. CNN's Dan Simon has details.
The most prolific serial killer in U.S. history, according to the FBI, 79-year-old Samuel Little confessing to 93 murders, strangulations that took place between 1970 and 2005. The victims hand-drawn by Little from memory. Law enforcement so far has verified 50 of the confessions, but want the public's help in dozens of other cases. Little gave interviews describing each scene and victim.
Tell me about Mary Ann.
She's what you nowadays they call a transgender.
Miami, 1971 or 72.
She weighed about 135, maybe 140.
And how old do you think she was?
But she was 19.
He says this is Ruth from North Little Rock, Arkansas. The timeline, 1992 to 1994.
Oh man, I loved her. And she was like honey colored skin. Her and about 6 other girls were sitting on the porch. The dude selling crack in there.
Authorities say Little targeted women, often of marginalized or vulnerable groups such as prostitutes or drug addicts. This unnamed woman he met in Columbus, Ohio, drove with her to Kentucky, then killed her.
So you meet this girl, I guess you're at a strip bar downtown Columbus.
I went on my car, and this white girl come out behind the building. And I'm in my trunk. She walked over to me, say, come on, y'all, can you take me to Miami?
Las Vegas, 1993.
She was kind of thin, dark skinned, about 40 years old when she was out there hustling.
New Orleans, a decade earlier.
And tell me where you met her.
I met her in a nightclub in New Orleans. And while we were dancing, she says, you want to go riding after this, after this party's over?
The FBI says the bodies sometimes went unidentified and their deaths never investigated. Convicted in 2014 and now serving 3 life sentences in California for multiple killings, authorities hope someone may remember a detail that could further the investigations.
Little did not seem to express any remorse in his confessions. The FBI believes all of his recollections are credible. There are calls for an outside investigator to look into the killing of a man who testified against former Texas officer Amber Guyger. The Dallas community is calling the timing of his death troubling. Robbie Owens reports.
For a city taking its first tentative steps toward healing, the murder of prosecution witness Joshua Brown ripped the bandage off of a still fresh wound.
John's heart touched a lot of people, you know what I'm saying? And when you lose somebody like that, you know what I'm saying, a little piece of everybody touched, you know what I'm saying, gone too.
The world was watching as Brown tearfully told jurors about his neighbor, Botham Jean.
We're not in a rush, okay?
Yeah, we need a moment.
He also testified that he did not hear the fired Dallas police officer Amber Guyger give verbal commands before opening fire.
I can't say I heard any type of words that I can make out.
Then on Friday night, someone opened fire on Brown in an Oak Lawn area apartment parking lot. Many in the community feared that he was targeted because of his testimony, but family members have said that Brown was concerned about a nightclub altercation late last year.
Members of Joshua's family have expressed to me and his close friends that there was ongoing threats related to the November 2018 shooting at the Dallas Cabaret.
The shooting at the Dallas nightclub left 1 man dead and wounded Brown. Now critics say the community needs answers.
No one moves on from this case as an unsolved murder. We need answers, and we need them to come from a reliable source.
The NAACP Legal Defense Fund has also called for an outside inquiry into the shooting. A Michigan girl is not allowed to get her school picture taken because of her hairstyle. Her family says a lack of communication led to the confusion. Nicole Butchman reports.
It's upsetting, you know.
Marion Scott's baby picture proudly hangs on her parents' wall for all to see.
but her third grade picture is missing since she was denied a school picture last week because of the red in her hair.
Her hair is done in a bun. It's braided into a bun. This is uncalled for to pull them to the side. They didn't even call us. Marion didn't leave out the house, go down the street, and go get this done on her own. She's 8 years old. We did this ourselves in our own home, and there's just no way that I felt like this would happen.
The Paragon Charter Academy handbook says that students' hair color must be natural tones to get their picture taken. But what it doesn't state is the course of action if a student shows up with colored hair, leaving Doug confused and frustrated when Marion was told she couldn't get her picture taken but could return to class.
If they at least would have reached out to us and said, hey, come get her, she's got a hair issue, we need you to change it. That's not allowed. I can show you in the handbook. They didn't even go to those extents. They let her stay in school. So if she's not a disruption to the class, then why is she a disruption to the picture?
The school did send out a recorded message Sunday before photos were taken, going over the dress code policy, a message Doug says he never heard or saw.
Had I seen the email, I probably would have told Latoya, hey, don't even do it, even if it's school color. I think it's good that this happened, because now people are going to get the opportunity to take a look at what's really going on.
Marion plans to have her picture taken next month on a retake day. Dogs could add years to your life. That's according to new research from the University of Toronto. Researchers analyzed data from 4 million people in 6 countries. They found dog owners had lowered the risk of dying early by 24%. For those who had already had a heart attack, the risk of dying was lowered by 31%. A major factor could be pet owners who walk their dogs got up to 30 minutes of exercise a day. Studies also show petting dogs can reduce blood pressure, anxiety, and depression. A day at a Long Island beauty salon went from mild to wild when a huge deer crashed through the window. Jeremy Roth has today's Take a Look at This.
A hair-raising experience at a New York salon was caught on camera. It happened at the Beautiful Hair Salon on Long Island. A deer crashed through the front window and scurried around before fleeing the shop. A woman sitting on the couch near the window was hit by the flailing animal, and the shop owner said she thought a car had crashed through the salon. Other than the shattered window, the owner said there was no significant damage to the salon, and no one inside was seriously injured. No word on the deer's condition. Carving a jack-o'-lantern for Halloween takes time and skill. Now just imagine trying to do it underwater. Creative scuba divers took the plunge to compete in an annual underwater pumpkin carving contest in Key Largo, Florida. Nearly 24 artists, working in teams of 2, used dive knives and carving tools to craft their submerged submissions, and keeping the naturally buoyant pumpkins from floating away simply added to the challenge. 2 divers from Detroit took first place, winning a free dive trip in Key Largo. Everyone seems to be getting into the Halloween holiday spirit. Just take a look at this Italian restaurant in Pennsylvania that just got a spooky makeover. The folks at Angelo's 2, in a town south of Pittsburgh, clearly take their holiday decorations seriously, but spaghetti slurping patrons beware. There's no telling what's lurking inside. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
That's all for today's news. I'm Hannah Cheeseman with your Fisher News Brief.